Hey guys, so today I'm coming here with one very good topic. So I'm now in Tanzania. I just came to visit, and while I'm here, I got some good questions, and I said this will be a very good thing to make a video. Someone asked me a question. I want to go to live overseas or to live abroad, but the challenge I'm facing is to make a decision which region will be better for me as immigrant, because we see a lot of things on TV. We see the issues of racial injustices, we see the issue about immigrants here, immigrant this, black this, whatever. But what are the things should I consider when I'm making the decision whether should I go to live in America, or should I go to live in Canada, or should I go to Europe? And this is just assuming you have the means, you have, or you meet the requirements of many opportunities. Let's say on education purposes, but the aim is to go to get studies in those particular countries, and possible to live in those particular countries on a permanent basis. So what things should you consider, or which countries or which regions are better than others? That was a very good question someone asked me. So instead of saying, oh, because I live in America, to say that, oh, definitely is the United States, I had to take a step back and look into various items, especially just overall, but specifically for immigrants, and to see if this one will be something better for, applicable for one region over the other, to favor in one area over the other as far as immigrants are concerned. So I have some few points I want to raise, and these few points in one way or another will be able to guide us into making the determination and making the decision, or help you to make that decision which one will be a better option. For me, might be a different kind of approach, different from you. And the reason being, while I made the decision to say I'll go to America, I'll live in America, become permanent resident, become a US citizen, live there permanently, I was not having all the other reasons which I'm talking to you now, because the decision I made while I was very, very young, and I got obsessed with it, I don't know whether it's just really wanted to come to America, and I had so many reasons. But the reasons at that time I'm making the decision were not concrete reasons, because you were just a child. Compared to now, someone has a career, for instance, or has kids, and has to make the decision which can impact so many other people, maybe your spouse, your children, all those kind of things. So let's dig in to look into that. For those people who are coming here for the first time to my YouTube channel, my name is Ernest Boniface Makulilo, EBM, and I welcome you to my YouTube channel, which is EBMSCHOLARS channel, the headquarters of opportunities and the good information where you can be able to use for yourself or for your colleagues. So consider subscribing, but don't forget to share the videos to your friends, to your groups in WhatsApp, in Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, you can be able to do that. So let's dig in. So number one thing which I want to consider, because it's very, very rare and it's very, very difficult for someone to move from one country to another directly with a permanent resident card. It is practically difficult. In the United States, you can have that opportunity. Let's say if you go through green card lottery, that will be one of the way. You can go from your country direct with the permanent residence. Or let's say you are married, or you are going to get married to American citizen, you can go with a fiancé visa, or going to meet your spouse who is an American citizen if you got married in your country and you have to meet. So those are some of the circumstances where you are going direct from day one as a permanent resident. And some of the countries, they have that one. If you get married, for instance, to other countries, unfortunately only the United States has the green card lottery, or the lottery system to give permanent residence. The rest is different. You can get married through, or some other countries like Australia, New Zealand, or Canada, they have a certain merit-based immigration system where you can go from day one and come with a permanent residence. But in general, it is practically difficult for someone to go from your country direct to America, direct to Britain, direct to Norway, direct to Sweden, direct to any country with permanent residency status. So some people go to those countries as tourists, visitors. Some people go there to those countries as on conferences. Some people go there as a student. And while you are there, you find a way on how you can be legally there and down the road change the status. So for that particular reason, the first factor which I will tell you to consider which region to go if your dream is to live in those countries on a permanent basis is to figure out which countries or the country which I want to go, is it easy or how difficult it is to do what we call the adjustment of status, to adjust your status from the visa type you have, whether you are a student, whether you are a tourist, whether you can go for the conference, whether you go for the medical. How can you be able to change from one visa type to become a permanent resident? That should be one of the key issues, because you might go to a country and stay there for 10 years and you have never become permanent residents. So technically you might end up wasting your time or delaying some of the opportunities, because the process of becoming permanent residents in those countries or doing adjustment are very, very complicated. So I will mention some of the countries, not easy, but they have the very many opportunities for someone to become a permanent resident in those countries. And for me, I can give Canada as #1 country in this particular context. Why do I give Canada as #1 country? But always it will be followed by Australia, New Zealand, and the United States will be in this particular category, and most of the European countries will be the last one. Why am I saying that way? Because if I use the United States and Canada as two examples, on one side there is the United States. In the United States, majority of immigration or status change from whatever visa you have to permanent residence, majority are on a family-based immigration. Yes, they have getting the green card through work or some other employment opportunities, but majority are family-based. While if you go to Canada, still they have the family base that if you get married to a Canadian citizen, you can become permanent resident of Canada, but they have a lot of opportunities. Larger percent, over 65% to 70% of immigration of Canada, for instance, is based on the merit-based immigration, or rather we call the point system, meaning I can go ahead, I have master's degree in maybe in microbiology, I have bachelor degree in engineering, or a bachelor degree in legal studies or law in particular. Then I'm this particular age, I have 5 years of work experience, or I have 10 years of work experience, I speak English, I speak French. So there are certain points you can be able to get and become permanent resident that you can apply from your own country, but you cannot do on your desk or on your home, go to the computer and apply to become a permanent resident in America because you have master's degree or you have PhD. No, in America only maybe you can get a lottery system, but in Canada you can do through points. Australia can do through points. You can do through points in New Zealand. That's one thing. But also if you become a student, for instance, if you look at Canada, there are so many opportunities to transition from becoming a student to permanent residence in Canada. There are special paths for international students in Canada to become permanent resident. Even if, another thing is just even in the work permit. In Canada, for instance, if you go there as international student, you study bachelor degree for 4 years. When you finish 4 years, you'll be given 4 years of work permit, while in the US, you'll be given 1 year. Unless otherwise you are in science, you'll be given 1.5 years. But most of the European countries are the same way. So you have to look which way would be a better way for me to do adjustment in those particular countries. So for me, I will give Canada as a #1 destination if you want to look into those categories. Then followed by Australia, followed by New Zealand, and then you can go to Europe and the US is the last category in that particular area. So the points to Canada, #1 point, then point to Australia and New Zealand. When you look into how or which countries are better or have more opportunities for someone going there and just become permanent resident, because you cannot have a dream of live in a country permanently if you don't become permanent resident, because the permanent residence is one step to be not worrying anything in that particular country. Then you wait for the final steps. If you want to become a citizen, that will be your own choice. Whether your country has a dual citizenship or doesn't have, that is something you need to consider. So that's number one. And I've talked about Europe and the US to be as kind of like the last in that category. But if I consider the issue of language, you will see most of the European countries are still in the last. Why? Because you are immigrant. You go there as a student, or whatever you stay in that country as a permanently. Very few countries in Europe can speak English or use English as a mother tongue or a national language. You are talking only the United Kingdom in Europe. Out of the United Kingdom, I'm talking Britain, we're talking about Wales, all those, and Ireland, whatever, all those small islands around which constitute to make United Kingdom. Out of that, no country in Europe with the native language, mother tongue, or national language is English. You go to Netherlands, they speak Dutch. You go to Germany, they speak German. You go to Norway, Norwegian. You go to Finland, Finnish. You go to Sweden, Swedish. You go to Romania, you speak that. You go to Poland, Polish. So you find out all those countries have their other languages. So in order for you to be at the top of the peak, to think that I'll have a very good job, unless otherwise you stay at academic institutions or into companies where majority are international or they do with international business, majority of those countries, in order to survive and have very good job in the normal competitive market and surviving better, you must know the language. Even you cannot become a permanent resident or a citizen of those countries, you have to take the language test. Just like in America, in a green card, you don't need to know the English, but if you want to become a citizen, in the United States, you have to take the English test, and also always English and the civics test. But in Europe, you have to know the language to take at a certain level, whether it's a C level, B, whatever level it is, depending on what you want to do. But when it comes to jobs, how are you going to do customer service? How do you sell things in the supermarket? How are you going to become a doctor and treating the normal citizens of Germany if you don't speak German? Or the normal citizens of Sweden if you don't speak Swedish? If you don't speak Finnish if you're in Finland? So in the end, you have to learn the language. That is a big challenge for many people. Why I say that is a big challenge? It's very simple. Remember, the majority of the people who are becoming immigrants, nowadays the age is growing up. It used to be around 20 to 26 are the average group of majority of people going overseas. But nowadays, majority of people going, for instance, in the United States, they say it is above 33 to 36. Majority of people have already have bachelor degree, have master's degree. They started their career in their countries, and then that's where they go to other countries. Someone is going to apply for PhD or masters. They already have certain things based in their own countries. So let's say you are at the age of 28, you are going to Norway. The age of 28 is very difficult to learn and master the language. But if you go at the age of 10, 12, 15, you can be able to master the language. But at the age of 30, yes, you can know the language about greetings, etc. But to be at that peak, you must be good with languages. There are some people enjoy to learn the language and they are very confident and they are very enjoying in general. For me, I'm very bad with the languages. So I cannot take the risk of going to a country which is non-English speaking country. But it depends. So when you are going to make those decisions, you have to look, am I good into learning languages? Because the purpose is not going to Norway. The purpose is not just going to go overseas. Are you going there to have better life than the life you have? Don't go there and be depressed and have difficult life than the life in your own country, Nigeria, or life in your country in Ghana, or in Liberia, or in Tanzania, or in Kenya, or in South Africa, or in Qatar, or wherever. You have to figure out those kind of decisions if you know for sure this is the target. So for me, when I was going to look for these opportunities at the beginning, my target was only the United States, but I knew if I go to Norway, which was my other target country, then Netherlands, I'll go there, stay for masters and maybe 1 more year then to go to America. But thankful I got the opportunity to come direct to America. So you have to see all those kind of things before you make kind of the judgment. Okay, so for that particular reason, United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States are ahead of most of the rest of the Europe because of the language and the difficulties to go along. And with the same language is part of culture. So if the language is part of culture, how do you able to adjust to the culture of the areas and the challenges? The language is also playing a vital role in one way or another. So that is something you need to consider, the language and the adjustment into the culture and the job in general. Speaking of jobs and careers, which countries or which regions are better when you are going to do or to look at, okay, if I go to this country, for me it's easier to reach at the peak. As I've been saying, the purpose should not just be, I want to go to Europe, I want to go to America, I want to go to Australia, to go to New Zealand. What are you going to do in those countries? How are you going to better life yourself? How are you going to better your community? How are you going to change the world? Because if the aim is just to go there and not having a plan ahead of that what are you going to accomplish there, you might end up there just because you are coming from a country with your diploma or your associate degree or your bachelor's degree, you are getting maybe $400 or $500 per month. You go to a country, you get $3,000 by washing dishes or helping elderly people. You think that the life is over. No, you can become a governor, you can become a member of parliament, a congressman, a congresswoman in that particular country. So you have to have better things like what is going to be your peak in that particular country. What are you going to accomplish? So speaking of the opportunities, in my opinion, United States is having a lot of opportunities for the jobs compared to the rest of the world. Why am I saying that? Is simply because, for instance, when you look about the size of the country, United States is one among the biggest countries in terms of the geographical location. If you compare, I'm not comparing with India or China, I'm talking just comparing with maybe the countries in Europe. Country like Norway, what is the population of Norway? It's about 4 or 5 million people. Sweden, whatever, all those countries are 5 million people. And the population of New York City, Manhattan alone, is over 6 million. The population of Missouri is over 6 million. So you see just kind of that, like most of these countries in Europe, they're just like small states here in the United States. If you look, for instance, the country like Canada, no matter how big it is, the population of Canada is smaller or less than the population of California. California is having over 40 million people as population-wise. So United States is bigger in that particular geographical region, but with over 400 million people. So you have the opportunity, if the life becomes difficult in one state, you can move to another state. You can go to school to another state. You can find jobs, you can start a business in another state. Myself, I started my life in West Virginia. 1 year, I moved to California. Stayed there for 6-7 years. I moved from California to Kansas to Missouri. So you see all those kind of things. I can move to another. I can find another job in any state I want. It's just having the opportunity. Just assume entire Africa is just one country. All over 54, 55, 56 countries in Africa. Assume you don't need to have the visa to go from Nigeria to go to South Africa. You don't need to have work permit to go to another country. Let's assume Africa is the United States of Africa, our own USA. That means you can go to any, so much you can have opportunities of jobs all over. You can have opportunity to start a business in any region of Africa. That is the opportunities America has. 50 countries, which we call states, joined together to form the United States of America. So that way you have all these opportunities. But if you are in Norway, you can be in one city. Maybe you're in Oslo, life is difficult, or you are looking for opportunities, you can go to another city, in maybe Tromso, or you go to another city, whatever city you want to go. But if you are looking for those kind of, you go to Bergen, whatever, but still it is a small country. It's different if life is difficult to go to another country in Europe, because yes, there is Euro, but there are certain restrictions still. So in US has that opportunity. Like you can go to so many states and have all those opportunities. So US will get the highest point on that particular category, followed by Canada in terms of the opportunities. It's bigger, it has also more opportunities than the rest of the European countries, and it will be going to that way. And the same way comes to the business opportunities. All these countries, yes, you can start your own business, but in US, you have a lot of diversity. If you are immigrant, you can start the restaurant only for African food, or specifically East African food or West African food. You can start a lot of, because it's the country with all cultures, they're there. If you go to Sweden, yes, if you go to the big cities, yes, you can be able to see multicultural aspect of it. But if you go to the rural areas, you cannot see. And you cannot open the restaurant everywhere. But in US, we have that abundance and opportunities, because everyone in one or another is immigrant in the United States. The point is, when did you come to America? That is big change. Exception of the native Indians, who are about 6-7 million. The rest of the people came to America at one point. Joe Biden's father or parents came maybe 1800 and something. Myself, I came 2008. That is the only difference, the timing for us to come to America. So for the business mind and the opportunities, United States has that part of the, you can start your own as entrepreneur. And the United States is the country with the largest amount of small business owners, is the people who run the country in terms of the business, or in terms of the taxation, in terms of everything. Small business are the foundation of the American economy. So you have those opportunities to do business if you are not planning to go to work and all other kind of things. I don't want to say that other European countries, they don't have those opportunities, but I'm talking about even the risk of becoming entrepreneur. Americans are okay to quit one job to go to another, quit school to do that, compared to, yes, also all Western countries, they can do that, but America is more into that, like innovation, like quit something, let me start to follow my dream, all those kind of things, and the greatness, I can do anything. That is the spirit of America. Other countries, they have. So that is another part. Another thing is about, which makes another difference, about, not, I don't want to say that completely the freedom part, but I want to say just overall the aspect where immigrants are protected by the law, in the sense that police cannot do certain things. So for instance, most of the European countries, by design, those countries were typical Caucasian countries. By Caucasian, I mean white. So those countries, if you are black, automatically they know you came from somewhere. If you look like Arab, it looks like you came from somewhere. You look like Asian, you come from somewhere. Compared to America, because everybody came here. So despite of everything, so it is difficult to see me because I'm black. I mean, were you born here or you just came here? There is no such a question. That's why here in the United States, it is illegal for police to stop me or to stop anybody and ask, can I see your immigration document at the bus stop or wherever it is? But in Europe, most of the European countries, I don't want to say all, but most of the European countries, police is legally allowed to stop you and ask you, show me your papers, show me your documents. Police can knock the door and show me your immigration documentation. It doesn't happen often, but it happens. They are allowed. But in the US, if you do that, it is discrimination. How have you determined that you ask me, not the other black or other white or whatever? You cannot do that. Arizona at one point wanted to pass that law, stop point search or whatever, something like that. Police can be able to have that matter. It was against the Constitution, so it was taken out. So you cannot allowed to do that. And once you arrive in America, you are coming there as a student, take your passport, put in the bag. Nobody's going to ask you, show me your passport, show me your visa. Nobody's asking you, but unless otherwise you commit a crime. So you have to know that kind of difference between these two regions. In Canada, on the other hand, is also a country where immigrants are more in Canada. And Canada is more inviting than most of the European countries. So with the US and Canada, I give the big edge on this one, but US is number one. But Canada, even if majority are white, but it's more welcoming in terms of immigrants. You find even the Minister for Immigration is immigrants. So you can see all those kind of things which are happening in Canada. So for me, I will give number one is US, number two is Canada, and then the rest will be coming to follow from that particular area. And so this is my favorite one. For those who follow soccer, we know about Kylian Mbappe and PSG, that Mbappe has refused to sign the contract over 6 times of being told they are going to double the salary. He refused, despite Messi's there, now Neymar or all other players. He said they want to go to Madrid. Why Mbappe is forcing himself to go to Madrid, despite if he's staying at PSG, is going to be highest paid player than Messi and all other kind of things. So I was going deeper, and I came one article which they say Real Madrid is offering something PSG will never be able to offer to Kylian Mbappe, and that is beyond money. So if Mbappe obviously is staying there for the last season, and then next season from January is going to sign for Madrid, and then in the summer next year is going to Madrid. If he's staying in Madrid, he's not going to be number one player. He used to be number one player himself and Neymar. But now there is Lionel Messi there. Then there is Sergio Ramos. There is Donnarumma as the goalkeeper. So there are so many superstars. So Mbappe becomes a normal player. So he's not a legend in PSG. That's number one. So wherever you go, there is no attention. That's number one. Number two, no matter how much you play, no matter how many Champions League you are going to win, no matter what happens, PSG or French league is not considered as the greatest league in the world. And among the top 4 leagues, PSG, French League 1, which is the French league, is not there. So in order to be highest player, you have to be playing in La Liga, playing to Premier League, you have to play to play in Italy, German, all those kind of leagues. So for that particular reason, Real Madrid is offering Mbappe the opportunity to be the greatest player for Spain and Real Madrid, which is something PSG, they'll say you're going to be biggest player in PSG and the French league, means nothing in the global stage. So for that particular reason, USA is offering something similar to that compared to the other countries. And I'm going to read something from Reagan. Ronald Reagan was one among the presidents in the United States. He received a letter, and that letter was a letter from his friend who is immigrant. I want to just to search. I received a letter, Reagan. So if you go to Google search and just say I received a letter, and Reagan says, so that letter, immigrant said he was thanking Reagan for diversity and all other kind of things, and they say if you go to Japan, just one second, if you go, so let's say today you decide to go to Japan, and while you go to Japan, you stay there for 5 years or 15 years, and in those 15 years you take a citizenship of Japan. The person say, I received a letter, someone says, if you go to Japan, stay there for no matter number of years you want to become there, you will never become a Japanese. If you go to Italy, you will speak Italian, but you will never become Italian. If you go to Sweden, you can take a citizenship of Sweden, but never become a Swedish. But if you come to America, stay in America, take American citizenship, you become American. So that is one of the big difference between these particular countries when it comes to the immigrants. So when you come to these countries, you see the differences. So what he's saying is this one. It is stated as follows. It was stated best in a letter I received not long ago. A man wrote to me and said, you can go to live in France, but you cannot become a Frenchman. You can go to live in Germany or in Turkey or Japan, but you cannot become a German, a Turk, or a Japanese. But anyone from any corner of the earth can come to live in America and become an American. This is very, very big. This is one of the things which shows the big difference between other countries and the United States of America. Is the country of immigrants, that you can come here and become American. You can feel that I'm Japanese, but typical cannot Japan. It's just like, just think this one in our tribes. You are from Kikuyu. No matter how many years you are going to live in the Nyanza region, you cannot become the tribe of another people in Nyanza region or in people in Kisumu. If you are from Sukuma land in Mwanza region in Tanzania and go to live in people in Nyakyusa in another region, no matter how many years you're going to stay, no matter how many languages you can speak or you can eat their food, you'll never become to transfer to that one. But America, because those countries, they have their blood is Swedish, they have blood is Japanese, their blood is French blood. But in America, there is no a DNA which pinpoint I'm American because I have blood in America. Because exception of 6 million people, 7 million people who are Native Americans, Native Indians, everybody else to 400 million came to America from somewhere at the part of the world. So America is providing something no other country on the planet Earth can give. Other countries, they give you the DNA to be a Tanzanian by DNA, but America cannot become American by DNA. You just go there and dominate and become American. So that is something, and you can see even like when there are some problems, Americans kidnapped or something, you will see they don't care about where you are originally from, you are American. That is a big point I want to point out. So, to summarize this one, in a very nutshell is this way. There is no a clear cut. Most of the European countries, Scandinavian, they have free education. They have very good medical system, free medical. Some people enjoy that, which is very, very good, better than the United States. If you go to Canada, they have a very better medical system than the United States. If you go to, for instance, some other countries, they have certain good programs if you don't have a job, unemployment benefits in Europe than maybe other countries whether more than the United States or Canada. So in the end, it comes down to you. What do you want to accomplish? Then you can look which of those you will be able to accommodate. Someone will look, okay, if I go to Europe and I have a child, I'll have more maternity leave. Some countries in Europe, like Germany, you can have more than almost a year, or more than that is a maternity leave. In the US, no, they don't give any particular attention. They can guarantee you to have a job for 3 months, but they're not giving you full 100% salary for more than 3 months. But some of the countries, they can give you full salary and continue to be employed for over a year. So it's up to you, which one do you prefer? Not just because for me I live in America or I've been in America, doesn't mean that America is best in all categories, no. But it doesn't mean that Europe has everything or this Scandinavian has everything more than all the rest of the world, no. In the end, each country has good, has bad. Just like our countries in Africa, just our countries in Asia, they have good, have bad. So it's up to you, how are you going to to comprehend those kind of things. But overall, these countries, whether it's Europe, whether it's United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, all those countries, overall, that's why they are called the first world countries. They have better things, and lifestyle might be more or less the same. There will be smaller distinction between here and there, but overall, the lifestyle standard is all of the first world countries. So that's what I want to share to you about that. It's a very long answer, but I don't want it for you to have all the dream. I have to go to America, only America, and you don't want to look for the opportunities in Canada. You don't want to look at Australia. You don't want to look at New Zealand. So there are so many opportunities you might lose. They are in Europe. Oh, I don't want to go to Europe, only America, only California, only I want to go to Massachusetts. Please open your mind, look for the broader. And even if your dream is to go maybe to specific Canada, if the opportunity comes to go to Netherlands, go to Netherlands first. If you are a soccer player, you are from your country in Africa, you cannot dream, yes, you can have a dream to play for Manchester or play for Real Madrid or Barcelona or Bayern Munich, but you don't think like from the one you come from your local club in your country, direct to Real Madrid. You can go to a smaller club, to Aston Villa, to Getafe, to all the small clubs, then you go to upper club. That is something you need to know and to consider. Sorry for the long answer, but that will be able to help you.